Welcome to Arise United Devils. In today's news, Manchester United stars double down on Jadon Sancho's stance as dressing room concerns emerge. The Manchester United dressing room have had enough of Jadon Sancho following his angry outburst to being dropped on Sunday, it has been claimed. Sancho was not even named on the bench to take on Arsenal, with Erik Ten Hag admitting in his post-match press conference that the 23-year-old had been left out because of his performances in training. It is safe to say that the rest of the United squad were unhappy with Sancho's response, and the winger is now facing a battle to regain the support of the dressing room. One source told ESPN that the players have had enough of Sancho, who arrived for £73 million from Borussia Dortmund in 2021. Ten Hag is understood to be bitterly disappointed by Sancho's reaction, and he felt let down after working hard to get the attacker back to his best. Sancho spent weeks training in the Netherlands with coaches recommended by Ten Hag after the Dutchman admitted he was struggling with his physical and mental health last season. Sancho returned for the final 3 months of the season, but was not able to have the desired impact on the team, ending the campaign on 7 goals and 3 assists in 41 appearances. He had featured in United's opening 3 Premier League games, before being dropped for the trip to Arsenal. Earlier this week, ESPN's Mark Ogden opened up on the dynamics in the dressing room and stated that Sancho was not universally popular with his colleagues. They feel that Sancho is not performing to the level they would like. He told BBC Radio 5 Live, "Not every player is popular with his teammates. Dressing rooms aren't always happy places, and I have been told there are some players that aren't big fans of Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. If they feel his performances and commitment aren't matching up to their level, it's going to be an issue." Bruno Fernandes reveals what Rasmus Højlund is trying to do in Manchester United dressing room. Bruno Fernandes has revealed what kind of impression Rasmus Højlund has made at Manchester United, detailing how the youngster is trying to speak to everyone, as he aims to build a relationship with his new teammates. Højlund was United's marquee summer arrival, joining in a £72 million deal from Atalanta at the start of August. After missing the opening weeks with a back injury, the striker came off the bench to make his debut during last weekend's 3-1 defeat at Arsenal. The Denmark international made a strong first impression at the Emirates, using his power and pace to cause Arsenal problems. It was his smart flick to Casemiro that opened up space for Alejandro Garnacho to score, only for his effort to be disallowed for offside. The success of Højlund's debut campaign with United will inevitably be measured by the number of goals he scores. But for the new striker to score, those behind him must create, and Fernandes hopes the pair can hit the ground running together. Højlund is someone who is always trying to speak to everyone. He is really open, Fernandes told Club Media. He's a kid that, from what I've seen, wants to work and get in the team because he wants to be fit as soon as possible. I think he has a lot of energy, a lot of strength, and hopefully a lot of goals too. Of course I want to build that connection with him that I have with the other strikers and wingers, because I'm here to serve them, so I want them to feel happy that they will get their chances, and after that, it's about them getting the goals. I want my strikers and wingers to score goals, and I want to see their happy faces celebrating in front of the Stretford end." Højlund will hope to strike up a similar relationship to the one that Fernandes has enjoyed with Marcus Rashford recently. Last season, United's top scorer described the Portuguese midfielder as the perfect player to play with. The Dane will hope to open his account upon returning from international duty, with United hosting Brighton in their first game back. Ryan Giggs explains Erik Ten Hag theory behind Jadon Sancho issue at Manchester United. Ryan Giggs thinks the public tussle between Jadon Sancho and Manchester United manager Erik Ten Hag might have been one last throw of the dice to spark the misfiring winger into action. Sancho called Ten Hag out on social media after the England international was left out of United's matchday squad against Arsenal. Ten Hag put that decision down to underwhelming training performances. The ex-Ajax manager stood by his comments after Sancho questioned the Dutchman via social media. It has been the talking point at Old Trafford and beyond during the first international break of the season, and former United player Giggs has now shared his thoughts on the situation. He was pressed on the issue between Sancho and Ten Hag on the Webby O'Neill channel. Giggs said, "It seems like it was the last throw of the dice. Let's call him out publicly and see how he reacts. From the outside you don't know, but it looks like Ten Hag has tried everything with Sancho, really. When he first came to the club, I was a fan. I thought he could get better, improve, which he's not really done in the short space of time he has been at the club." Giggs added, For me, he always made the right choices in that final third, which is rare for a young winger, but it hasn't happened. Ten Hag has sent him away to get fit, he's tried him in different positions, and for me, calling him out publicly is probably the last straw, or the last try, to get the best out of Sancho. The player can react and think, right, I'll show him, and show the manager what I'm capable of, or he can sulk and probably won't get anywhere. It's up to Sancho now. I know a lot has been made of his training, and for me training at United, from my experience as a player, was harder than the games. If it's true his training performances haven't been good enough, you're not going to play. It's also a responsibility of the dressing room to make sure he's performing in training. The players have got to take responsibility. If he's true that he's not pulling his weight, they have to call him out to make sure he does perform. He's got ability, we've all seen that. There's only one person who can change it. Do everything you can, and don't give the manager an excuse to call you out. Rio Ferdinand agrees with Ryan Giggs' theory on Erik Ten Hag's handling of Manchester United's Jadon Sancho. Former Manchester United defender Rio Ferdinand believes Erik Ten Hag is pushing for a reaction from Jadon Sancho after his criticism of training performances. There has been speculation as to why Ten Hag decided to take aim at one of his players so publicly, particularly when the manager revealed last season that he had been absent for so long due to physical and mental reasons. And Ferdinand believes it is a final attempt to G up a player who is yet to find top form in a red shirt. I think Ten Hag is working out a way in which he can trigger his player to get a positive outcome on the pitch, to get a performance on the pitch and consistently get those performances, Ferdinand told TNT Sports. I think he's trying different ways, and I think this is another way of him trying to get a reaction out of his player. All managers do it differently. Despite reports of late interest from Saudi Arabia, Sancho remained at United and will likely do so until at least the January window. The 23-year-old has shown moments of quality and played the most minutes in preseason, suggesting he is still valued by Ten Hag. And Ferdinand believes that with most of the squad away on international duty, player and manager need to come together and work things out for the benefit of the club. There's going to have to be that conversation between manager and player because they've both spoken publicly, Ferdinand added. Whether one likes it or not, they've both done it now. It's now about what the best thing is for Manchester United, what's the best thing for Sancho and what's the best thing for the manager. They've got to decide that between themselves and have an open and honest conversation around a table. I think Ten Hag wants to get the player he knows is inside Sancho performing for United. Manchester United stars double down on Jadon Sancho's stance as dressing room concerns emerge. The Manchester United dressing room have had enough of Jadon Sancho following his angry outburst to being dropped on Sunday, it has been claimed. Sancho was not even named on the bench to take on Arsenal, with Erik Ten Hag admitting in his post-match press conference that the 23-year-old had been left out because of his performances in training. It is safe to say that the rest of the United squad were unhappy with Sancho's response, and the winger is now facing a battle to regain the support of the dressing room. One source told ESPN that the players have had enough of Sancho, who arrived for £73 million from Borussia Dortmund in 2021. Ten Hag is understood to be bitterly disappointed by Sancho's reaction, and he felt let down after working hard to get the attacker back to his best. Sancho spent weeks training in the Netherlands with coaches recommended by Ten Hag after the Dutchman admitted he was struggling with his physical and mental health last season. Sancho returned for the final 3 months of the season, but was not able to have the desired impact on the team, ending the campaign on 7 goals and 3 assists in 41 appearances. He had featured in United's opening 3 Premier League games, before being dropped for the trip to Arsenal. Earlier this week, ESPN's Mark Ogden opened up on the dynamics in the dressing room and stated that Sancho was not universally popular with his colleagues. They feel that Sancho is not performing to the level they would like. He told BBC Radio 5 Live, "Not every player is popular with his teammates. Dressing rooms aren't always happy places, and I have been told there are some players that aren't big fans of Jadon Sancho at Manchester United. If they feel his performances and commitment aren't matching up to their level, it's going to be an issue. Manchester United need huge investment in their squad, stadium and training ground to have any chance of getting back to the top," according to Ryan Giggs. Despite United having received offers of around £6.5 billion from Sheikh Jassim and Sir Jim Ratcliffe, the Glazers still own the club, with no sign of a takeover going through. Asked who he wanted to see take over United, Giggs said, "It's the one who's going to make a difference. the one who's going to put in significant investment. From the outside, it looks like Sheikh Jassim who's going to put the most money in, who's going to own it 100%. We need significant investment in both the playing staff, the stadium and the training ground. You need everything. If things weren't too bad on the pitch, if we were winning games, winning trophies, then you could probably get away with it. But we're not winning games, we're not winning trophies, and it's just an added pressure for the manager, for the players, with lots of outside noise. One of the biggest issues facing United is what to do with Old Trafford, with the stadium in disrepair and needing significant upgrading or a complete rebuild on the same site. Giggs, speaking on the Webby and O'Neill YouTube channel, added, "For me, it's the best ground in the world. So let's get up to the standard of other teams, other clubs, in the rest of the world. The same with the training ground and the same with the playing staff. For me, the investment needs to be significant, it needs to make a difference. Preferably, I would like the ground to stay as it is. But if that's the best thing to do, knock it down and rebuild it, then, yes. But from an emotional point of view, from playing, being a fan, you'd like Old Trafford to stay as it is and be improved. But if that isn't possible, to bring it up to the standards of Tottenham and other stadiums around the world, I know Real Madrid have done theirs, as it stands. Fans, have your say on how the dispute between Ten Hag and Sancho should be resolved. Let us know what you think in the comments section below. Till next time, thank you for watching.